Namaste to all. Welcome to Drishti Yogsala Rishikesh. My name is Sonu. His name is Prashanjit. So we are going to teach you today headstand, which is considered as the king of all the asana. So without wasting the time, let's begin our headstand practice. So for doing the headstand, first we are sitting into the Vajrasana, or it's called the Virasana too. So please turn to this side. We are going to sit with a straight spine, keeping the both palms on your thighs before beginning the class. Nice, tall and long spine, pressing the shoulders back, lifting the side of the chest up. Keep the chin slightly tucked in and visualize that you're kind of doing the headstand and you're thinking about keeping the head in line with your spine. After that, we're going to bend forward and we're going to put the forearms on the mat. Now, we're going to bring the right palm to the left elbow and then left palm comes to the right elbow. So this is, we are going to check the distance between the elbows. Our elbows should be always remain shoulder distance apart. After that, we're going to bring the palms into the headstand. We're going to interlace the fingers. So when we are clasping the fingers, make sure the one pinky finger should be remain in and one pinky finger should be remain out. Your thumb should be the pointing up, or it could be rest onto the index fingers. After that, we're gonna release the head on the mat, put either the crown of the head or maybe the middle of the head, whatever more comfortable for you. So in the beginning, actually, when the students are putting the middle of the head, they feel more comfortable rather than keeping the crown of the head. So because when we are teaching, when we are doing to keeping and when we are practicing to keeping the crown of the head on the mat, the most of the students get shrugging the shoulders, which could be put some pressure onto the neck. So I think when we are teaching to the new students or when we are practicing in the beginning, it's a better to put the middle of the head. It's totally fine. It's more important to keep opening the shoulders. It's not important the position of the head in the beginning. It's more important the distance between the shoulders has to be nicely broad and open. Now it is said about the headstand, when we are practicing the headstand, we need to balance on the crown of the head. But in the beginning, when you're going to practice to put the crown of the head, the students, we are struggling and we are finding a more difficulty because to put the head, where to put the head is a less important. What is more important? The position of the shoulder. Let me show you how it works. So he's going to show you the headstand. So put your hands once again onto the mat, interlace your fingers, grasping the finger. Now whenever the students put, this is the crown of the head, whenever the students put the crown of the head, so they find difficulty to open the shoulders, their shoulder is shrugging a lot, and when the shoulder is shrugging, they feel the tension into the neck. When you're going to ask them to put the middle of the head, it's easy for them to making the shoulders wide and open. But still, I say the middle of the head, don't go on the front of the head, keeping somewhere the middle of the head. So it's less important the position of the head. What's more important, the position of the shoulder. The shoulder has to be nicely broad and open. After that, he's going to tuck the toes in, nicely curling the toes in, then lifting your knees off the mat, but still broadening your shoulder. Your shoulders should not be shrugged. Now, after that, we have to lift the heels higher. The moment you lift your heels higher, the sitting bone will reach up. Now we're going to walk some step forward, a few step forward, small walking. The moment you walk forward, your heels wants to be go back. If your heels is going back, you can see the impact in your spine. Your back start rounding a bit. If your back is rounding, again your neck is going to be crushing, so it will not be a right movement. So what we are going to do, we're going to lift the heels all the way up. After that, we're going to tilting the tailbone sharply up, getting the lower back in, and then walking the feet a bit more forward, but keeping the heels once again straight up. But now when you walk forward, make sure your hips should not come this side, because it's going to be put some pressure onto the neck. Make sure your hips only need to be remain over the head. After that, we're going to bend the one-legged knee, which leg is comfortable. So keeping that knee close to your abdomen, keeping the toes nicely pointing up, and really try to squeeze this right thigh now to your abdomen, to your chest, that you can squeeze the core and feel the core is working and supporting you here. Now, the many times the students are struggling to lift the another leg up. Now what we need to do after that, we're going to push from the left ankle, just only pushing from the left ankle like that. Push from here. From here, we are going to push the body weight on your head more from the ankle. So basically when we are staying here in the posture, the many times the students are trying to kick up from there. So they cannot shift the weight on the head because they're keeping the heels far back and now they're keeping the more weight on the legs. So we have to use now the left ankle to shifting the weight on the head. So we're going to use the ankle to push the body forward. Try to be balanced onto the tip of the toes, still squeezing the right thigh to your abdomen. Now slowly lift this leg up, bend the knees and bring the heels both thighs together. Keep finding the balance, squeeze your knees and thighs together. Now, when you're going to check, you have to once again visualize that your hip should be remain really over your head. It should not come this way just behind you. After that, you're going to first lifting the knees up without lifting the heels up. Only the knees has to be go up. When you feel that that's the maximum for you cannot go up because you're falling this side, then after that we're going to straighten the legs at the knee. When the legs go all the way straight up, we're going to visualize a one straight line. The legs should be together, the toes should be pointing up, stretching the feet up. Now, starting once again to connecting your elbows, the weight again on the elbows, the shoulders need to be moved away from each other. Ribs has to be pushed in. Now think about tuck your tailbone in that you can frame a one straight line. Squeezing your legs together and your thigh has to be internally rotate, extending the feet from the ankle. Now from there, we're going to keeping the feet up and then we're going to toes should be the pointing back. So we're not going to completely extend the feet from the ankle. We're going to keep curling the toes, keep curling the toes. So the toes should not be the pointing up. Only stretch your ankles, the toes should be the pointing back. Now touch the big toes and heels will be get slightly apart. When you do that, your thigh will take slight internal rotation, which could be again give you some more space into the lower back. That's all about how to do it. And now let's see how to come out from there. From there, we're going to slowly bend the legs at the knee one by one or maybe together, what's more comfortable for you. Bringing the knees once again to your abdomen. Slowly when you come previous back to the same position, then we're going to slowly drop the legs down. Release it. Now directly from here, we're going to drop the knees, rest the knees, point your toes back, point your toes back, sit between your heels, and we are going to come to the child pose, which is called as a balasana. We can take the hands this time next to the thighs that we can nicely relax the shoulders.